Exciting. So when we're ready, we're going to start. Just going to start standing up. Take a couple of nice deep breaths, and we're just going to try and let go of everything that's going on the day thus far, and then politely put on hold anything else you have left to do for the day. So just take this time. It's 1 hour for you and your body, so you can get the absolute most out of it. So just take a couple of nice deep breaths. Just land in the moment. And then when you're ready, take your heels in a small triangle. Bring your toes in line with your heels. Ankles, knees, and hips are going to be nicely aligned. Then I want you to give your toes a little wiggle, but I want you to really splay your toes. So spread the toes as much as you can. Almost feel the webbing spread and wiggle them. Really spread them nicely. And then when you're ready, just gently start rocking backwards and forwards, left to right. And just try and find a point where your weight is evenly distributed between your left and your right foot, and between the balls and the heels of the feet. So when you find that point, just keeping it there, and then softening through the knees. So keep the knees nice and soft. Try not to let them lock out, and bring your hands up to your pelvis. So you can place your hands in a little triangle, either side of your hip bones or back and front. Little pelvic tilt. So sending your tailbone down and sending your pubic bone down. So we're just rolling through the pelvis, getting a little bit of movement into that area. If you've just woken up, if you just roll out of bed, you might be feeling a little bit stiff. And then you're going to end up with your tailbone tucked under and your hands by your side. Now we're going to lengthen upwards. Imagine a golden thread lifting you from the crown of the head, making you as long and as tall as you can. Just take one moment here just to notice how your body responds to that thing. Just think about the vertebrae in your spine. Just create a little bit of space between them. And just notice that you can actually grow by just a couple of mils. So when you're ready, focus your eyes on the horizon. Try and keep your chin parallel with the floor. And we bring the shoulders right up to the ears. Squeeze them all the way back and gently sliding them down. I'm just going to do this a couple of times. As we're doing this, I want you to think about creating length between your shoulders and your ears. You're going to end up with your chest open and lifted. Collarbones are wide and your shoulder blades are squeezing together. Now, when we think about our core, think about a big, big wide belt of muscles. So it wraps all the way around your torso. It's called your transverse abdominis. So I want you to imagine that's a belt that's wrapping around. You're going to tighten it as much as you possibly can. So really squeeze everything in towards the midline. Maximum intensity, we're at notch number 10. Quite uncomfortable, a little bit difficult to breathe. And then slowly and with control, you're going to release that down to notch number 5. Hold it there. And then go down to notch number 3. And just see if you can keep that throughout the rest of this time we have together. Now, when we think about our pelvic floor, so take a deep breath, inhale, just see if you can lengthen. As you exhale, the body contracts. And as you do that, I want you to squeeze and lift the pelvic floor. So breathing in, expanding, exhaling, contracting, and squeezing and lift the pelvic floor. One more time, breathing in, and then breathing out, squeezing and lifting. Hands are going to be by your side. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to work on some balance today. First of all, take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, you're going to float your arms up and then float them back down. Nice and easy. If you want to add to that, you can come onto your toes. So you exhale to lift, inhale to come back down. Nice and easy, just waking up the body, just very gently. Really stretch up towards the ceiling. Try and touch it as much as you can. If it's too much coming up on your toes, just keep your feet down, that's fine. This is your last one. And then when you're ready, hands are going to be by your side. Take a deep breath. Slowly nod the chin to the chest, stretching through the back of the neck. Inhale to come back. As we're doing that, we're just going to do that a couple more times, keeping the knees nice and soft. Tailbone is tucked under. Chest is really open, lifted. Collarbones are nice and wide. And do it nice and slow. You just get a really nice big stretch to the back of the neck. Come back. So when you're ready, placing your hands on your lower back. You can either place them there or interlace behind your tail. Really squeeze the shoulder blades together. Take a deep breath and nod the chin to the chest. And then start circling with your nose. Nice and slow and controlled. Make sure you're breathing. Relax your shoulders. Collarbones are super wide. And as you bring your chin up to the sky, make sure you don't crunch the back of the neck. We're going to go the other way. So we're just doing 3 in the opposite direction, but really slow it right down. Notice how that feels. keep those knees soft. Keep the tailbone lengthening down, and notice the clanks and clunks you might get with your neck. Yeah, that's your last one. And then you bring your hands to your shoulders, bring the elbows together to kiss, and then we go up, back and round. Again, notice the sound effects, the smiles, all good. We're just going to do one more in this direction. But as you bring your elbows forwards, you're going to get this lovely big stretch to your upper back. As you bring your elbows back, you're going to get the stretch through your chest. We're going to reverse the circles. So as you're doing it, try and focus your gaze on the horizon. Please don't feel that you have to look at me. I don't want you crooking your neck. So we want to just try and let my voice guide you. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Just peek at me if you need to. But trust yourself, you know what you're doing. And then when you're ready, we're going to have our hands by our sides, standing nice and tall, chest open, lifted. Take a deep breath on the exhale. You slide your right hand down your thigh. Get the nice big stretch to the left side of the body. Come back. Do the same on the other side. We exhale as we go down. Inhale as we come back. Nice and easy. So as we're doing this, try and keep the shoulders stacked. So we're not rotating. Knees are soft, tailbones tucked under. So we're just going to do one more on each side. Just make sure you have a bit of a core engagement as you're doing that. Get that really nice stretch through your side body. Now we're going to play with the balance. So we're going to attempt to bring the right foot in front of the left, as if we're standing on a tightrope. If this is too much, offset, so turn your toes out or offset your feet completely, okay? You can do it holding on to something if you want to, but you're going to start, standing nice and tall, lengthen from the crown, then soften the knees. Take a deep breath, smile. On the exhale, you slide your hand down. Inhale to come back. Nice and slow. Notice how that feels. You might get a little bit of a wobble, like I've got. Try not to compromise your posture, so you're not going to start hunching, so the shoulders are nicely relaxed away from the ears. You're going to use a little bit more core to stabilize yourself. This is your last one, and then you'll bring the left foot in front of the right. So again, you're on your tightrope. If this is just too much, you can obviously turn your toes outwards or offset. So before you start, lengthen from the crown, really open up to the chest, nice soft knees, tailbone tucked under. Exhale as you slide the leg down. Inhale to come back. Nice and slow and controlled. So just make sure you're breathing. Exhale as you come down. Inhale as you come back to center. We're just going to do one more set. Get that nice stretch through your side body. Also notice how much core you're having to work to stabilize. My feet are wobbling like crazy. When you're ready, bring your feet back to hip width apart. And we're just going to do a little bit of rotation. So bring your hands across your chest. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, you rotate your head, your neck, and your chest to the right. Inhale to come back. Exhale, we go to the left. So as you're doing this, I want you to maintain the hips facing forwards. I don't want them moving with you. So imagine two spotlights on your hip bones. They're just going to face forward. It's just your head, your neck, and your chest that are going to rotate. This is your last one with your feet hip width apart. Then we'll go back to the tightrope. So right foot in front of the left, lengthening from the crown, soften the knees, open through the chest. Take a deep breath, smile, it's all good. You exhale as you rotate to the right. Inhale to come back. Nice and slow. Exhale, rotate again. So just think about lengthening from the crown of the head. Relax your shoulders and then just scan the horizon as you go. Notice how it feels. Notice how much wobble you may have. So your left will be your last one on this side. And then we do the same with the left. So left foot comes in front. Remember, you can offset. So either turn your toes slightly out or to offset your feet completely. Soften the knees, lengthen from the crown. Relax your shoulders, open your chest. Exhale as you rotate. Inhale as you come back. Nice and slow and controlled. You're scanning the horizon as you go. Try not to create tension elsewhere. So just notice if you're starting to sort of clench your teeth. Hold your breath. Just soften everything. We've got this last set to go. And then when you're ready, hallelujah, your feet go back to hip width apart. We're just going to stand nice and tall. We're just going to do a little figure of 8 with our hips, keeping the knees really soft, trying to keep the upper body relatively still. And just get a nice little bit of movement through that lower back. And then start reversing. So nice and slow, nice and easy. And then when you're ready, we're going to do some squats. But again, we're going to work on that balance. So we're going to just a nice normal one to start with. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, you're going to fold at the waist, send your bottom back as if you're going to sit back into an imaginary chair. Your knees are going to track above your ankles, and then we come back. So you exhale to come down, inhale to come back up. So as you're doing this, think about lengthening from your crown to your tail the whole way through. And especially when you come down, let's not let the guts just spill out. Just tuck the tailbone under slightly and draw everything in towards the midline. The other thing I want you to think about, because it's not enough already, is that you're going to relax your shoulders away from your ears. Chest is open and lifted. Now we're going to start adding, if you want to, we can start adding, we can come up onto your toes as you lift up. Do a couple like that. So working your balance. As you come up onto your toes, you're having to work your core a little bit harder. Right, so we've got another option now. So next time you come into your squat, you're now going to come onto your toes and then lift it back up and then come back down. So your heels come down as you lower down. Lift your heels and then, and as you can see, I'm doing a wonderful job of doing this. So just notice how that affects you. Work with your balance. And then if you want, you can do the entire squat on your toes. So notice how that feels. Notice if that compromises your posture. So relax your shoulders. Keep that core engaged. And if that's just too much, go back to normal squats. Just have a little bit of a laugh. You need a sense of humor at the moment. So relax your shoulders. Chest is open and lifted. We're just going to do 2 more of whichever variation suited you today. This is your last one. And then when you're ready, just going to do a little bit of work for the feet. So we're just going to stretch to the foot and then we're going to do some heel raises. So as we normally do, smile for this one. Taking the weight off the heels onto the balls, onto the toes, tips if you can, and then right through to the front of the foot. Get a really big stretch through the front of the foot and through the shin. Just check you haven't just suddenly just dumped all your weight into that hip. So just keep those hips nice and level. Lengthening from the crown, breathe. And then release the leg down. Same on the other side. So taking the weight off the heel onto the balls, tips, toes. Check we haven't done that. So keep the hips level, lengthen from the crown. Nice big stretch. And then we're just going to do some heel raises. So just challenging the balance again. If you want to, you can try and extend the amount of time you're on your toes. And then you can also try and do it with your eyes closed. See how that feels. Breathe. And then we're going to do some roll downs. We'll do a couple of variations. So the first one you're going to do with your feet hip width apart, just a very normal one. You're going to lengthen from the crown of the head, tailbones tucked under, chest open, lifted. Take a deep breath, nod the chin to the chest. Keep the knees nice and soft. Scoop through the abdominals. Allow the head and the hands to hang heavy. Now, please listen to your body. If you haven't done this for a little while, just be mindful, be careful, don't force it, especially if the lower back is not feeling too good, especially if you only woke up 5 minutes before we started this. So just be kind to yourself. When you've got to your furthest point, take a moment there. Then I want you to lift your toes from the floor. Take a nice deep breath, and then on the exhale, slowly restack. You're coming vertebra by vertebra with your shoulders, your neck, and your head. And then lower your toes back down. You're going to bring your right foot in front of your left. If you're over here, you might still see me. And we go again. So chest really open, lifted. Try and keep a little softness to those knees. Lengthen from the crown of the head. Take a deep breath. Nod the chin to the chest. Scooping through the abdominals. Allowing the head and the hands to hang heavy as you slowly, slowly peel your spine. Notice how this feels. Notice if you've got a little bit of a wobble, or you're probably going to have quite a bit of a wobble. You're just going as far as your body allows. When you've got your furthest point, take a deep breath. On the exhale, slowly restack. Really taking your time, vertebra by vertebra, with your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Come up last. We're going to do it with the left foot in front of the right now. Standing nice and tall, lengthening from the crown. Chest open, lifted, core engaged. Take a deep breath. Nod the chin to the chest. Scooping through the abdominals. Try and keep those knees a little bit soft. And you're peeling your spine. Just notice the difference between the sides. Notice the difference between having your feet hip width apart. When you've got to your furthest point, just hold it there and breathe. Notice the stretch. You might feel it slightly more in the glutes. Take a deep breath on the exhale, restack. You're going to have to use a lot of core to stabilize. So draw everything in towards the midline. And it's your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Coming up last. This is going to be our last one. We're going to take our feet to Pilates feet. So toes are going to be turned outwards. You're lengthening from the crown. Tailbone's tucked under. Chest is open, lifted. Take a deep breath. Another chin to the chest. Scooping through the abdominals. Again, notice the difference in the stretch. Notice if it's getting a little bit easier, if you can go a little bit further, or if not. When you've got to your furthest point, take a moment there. Breathe. And then bend your knees to bring your hands to the floor. Walk your hands forwards. And we're coming into an extended child's pose. So bring your knees as wide as your mat, your big toes together. Then first of all, walk your hands forwards and then send your bottom back. If you obviously have any knee issues, you're going to keep your bottom up in the air. If not, you're going to attempt to bring your bottom onto your heels. And then allow your head and your chest to grow heavy and come towards the floor. So we're just going to breathe here for a few moments. Just allow the body to open, allow the shoulders, the chest to open up, the hips to open. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. You're going to get a nice big stretch through the right side of your torso. If you want a little bit more, you can place your right hand on top of the left. Just relax your shoulders, breathe. And when you're ready, you're going to walk your hands over to the right. You're going to get straight away a big stretch to the left side of the torso. Place your left hand on top of the right if you want a little bit more, but if not, it's fine to keep both hands on the floor. Breathe. And then when you're ready, slowly walk your hands back to center. You're going to lift up off of your heels. And we're going to thread the needle. So your wrists are going to be underneath your shoulders. Now check what's going on with your lower back. If you can see, my lower back is dipped. So we're going to tuck the tailbone slightly under. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. With your right hand, you're going to take the hand up. So you're inhaling as you open up. Try and look up towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulders. And we're going to do some diagonals today. Exhaling, you're going to bring the hand through. You're going to bring the right hand through the bridge of the left. And you're going to come down towards your left ankle. And we go up again. So we inhale as we open up. Exhale as we bring the hand towards the left knee. So we're just going to, little diagonal, we're just going from the top right corner of your mat to the left bottom corner. I'm just going to do one more in this direction and then we swap sides. So you get a nice big rotation through your thoracic spine. Now we're going to go backwards. So you're going to bring your hand back and then you're going to feed the hand through the bridge going towards the wrist. So we exhale as we open, inhale as we come back. So we're just going toward from the bottom right corner of your mat towards the top left corner. We're going to do one more like this, exhaling as you feed through. And then we're going to go back to a normal one. So just start from the normal position, take a deep breath on the exhale, feed the arm underneath the bridge of the left hand. So you're just going to go from side to side, from right to left now. Nice and easy. Opening up the chest and then rotating. You're folding at the hips. You're using your core to stabilize. You're going to do two more. Exhale as you rotate. Inhale as you open up. This is your last one. And then I want you to bring your hand all the way through. Allow your head to come towards the chest and slide your left hand towards the top end of your mat. I'm just going to take a moment here to breathe. Relax your shoulders. Feel that nice big stretch through your shoulders. These are scapulas, your shoulder blades. And then when you're ready, slowly slide the hand back towards your head. You're going to use your core and then unravel. So we're going to go back into that position. So start position. Wrists are underneath your shoulders. Your hips are above your knees, but obviously your knees are slightly wider. Check your tummy isn't dropping. So tuck the tailbone under. Engage your core, relax your shoulders. So first of all, we're going to go from top left to bottom right. So inhale as you lift the arm up. Exhale, you're feeding the arm through the bridge, bringing it towards the right knee. So you inhale, we're just going to do 4 more. Inhale, and then you exhale. Engaging your core the whole way. So you're stabilizing the movement with your core muscles. Really stretching through. Nice little bit of rotation. This is your last one in this direction. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring the hand back. So you're going to come towards the bottom left corner of your mat, and then you're feeding it through to the top right corner. So a diagonal. We've got 3 more to go. Just slight variation of the same exercise. Opening up through the chest. Exhaling as you come through. You've got one last one in this direction. And then we're just going to do a simple side to side. So left to right. Opening up through the chest. Exhaling and you rounding through. Nice and slow and controlled. Inhaling. And then you exhale. Inhale. This is your last one. You're going to bring your left hand through. Allow your head to come towards the chest. So your left ear comes towards the mat. And you slide your right hand up towards the top end of your mat. Getting a really nice big stretch through your shoulders and your chest. A little bit to the neck. Breathe. Then when you're ready, slide the hand back. You're going to press up and out of your mat. So we're going to come back, bring our feet, our knees underneath our hips. So we're going to come back to hip width apart. Come into a classic 4-point kneeling position. You're going to slightly, you're going to lengthen from your crown to your tail and then slightly tuck your tailbone under and engage your core. So when you're ready, take your right leg, you're going to send it right out long. You're going to just rock backwards and forwards on your toes for a few moments. Relax your shoulders. And then we're just going to start sliding the foot past the left foot to look over the shoulder at the right leg. So you're going to get a nice stretch to the side body. What I want you to do is press the mat away from you and look over at your foot. Get a really nice big stretch. Breathe. And then when you're ready, you're going to take that leg and you're going to bring it forward. So if you need to hike the knee up, that's absolutely fine. So you're going to bring that right knee forward. So you're now going to bring the right hand to the inner arch of that foot and then dial your toes outwards. So your toes are turning towards the right corner of the mat, right top corner. And then you've got the option here of walking that knee back, or you can come onto your toes. So you come up and lifting. So we had a request for hips. This is hips for you. So we're going to stretch all the way through the hips. Relax your shoulders. It's called a lizard stretch. We're going to breathe. And don't battle it if it's not good for you. Just hold it as far as you comfortably can. You're not forcing it. Remember, you can have the leg down. And then you've got the option now of maybe coming onto your forearms if that's available to you. But if not, just breathe. Just feel that nice big stretch as your psoas. And then when you're ready, you're just going to release the knee down. And then whilst from this position, we're going to walk the foot towards the left corner of the mat and lowering it down. So we're going into a pigeon stretch now. Again, for exactly the same place. So we're stretching through the hip again. So don't worry about what you look like. Focus more on the sensation than the shape. Relax your shoulders. What I want you to feel is a really big stretch through your right bottom, your glutes, and your left hip flexors. So you can stay in this position, or you can start walking your hands forward. You might just come to here. You might be able to bring your elbows down. You may even be able to bring your head down to your hands if you create a little support for it, or you can just come all the way down. Just listen to your body, whatever works for you. Breathe. And then when you're ready, start to walk your hands back. And then we're going to unwrap whatever is possible for you. So just come out in any way that works. Hoik your leg if you need to. We're coming back to 4-point kneeling. Wrists are going to be underneath the shoulders. Knees are going to be underneath the hip points. Now lengthen from crown to tail and notice what's happening to your lower back. We don't want that arching. So tuck the tailbone slightly under and engage your core. Left leg now. We're sending the left leg out long. So I'm just going to stretch backwards and forwards a couple of times. This little rocking, a nice big stretch of that leg. Breathe. I hope you're all still with me. And then when you're ready, start sliding that left leg around the back of the right. And then press the mat away from you as you look over your right shoulder at your left foot. You're going to get a really nice stretch through your whole torso. Breathe. And then you know what's coming. So you're going to slide that leg back and then bring it forward. So if you have to hoik it up, that's absolutely fine. You're bringing your left foot forward. You're going to now bring the left hand is going to be in the inner arch of that left foot, and then dial your toes out. So it's just pointing towards the top left corner of your mat if you've got one. Then start walking the right knee back. You can stay on your knee. You can lift. It's totally up to you. So this is the lizard. We're going through really big stretch through the hip flexor, opening up through the other hip as well. So maybe you want to have a little rock side to side. And again, focus more on the sensation than on the shape. Don't worry about what you look like. Just breathe. Maybe if you have it available to you, maybe come down onto your elbows. So just breathe through here for a few moments. Smile when you're there. And then when you're ready, you're going to lower the back leg. Walk the left leg towards the right corner of your mat and then lowering it down. Again, focus on the sensation, not what you look like. And you're going to press into the back leg. So the top of the back leg is going to be your anchor. You want to get this really nice big stretch through your left glute and through your right hip. Relax your shoulders, smile. All good. Again, you've got the option. Maybe you can walk your hands forward slightly. Maybe come down onto your forearms. Maybe you just create a little support for your head, or you might even be able to bring your head right down to the floor. So just work whatever variation works for you. Breathe. And then when you're ready, slowly come back up. Now, I've got a clever way of getting out of this, hopefully. So you're going to just roll onto your left buttock and then just sweep your right leg forward. Ta-da! We've come into a nice seated position. So in this position, we're just going to do a spine stretch. So in this position, if you need to lift your bottoms, get your towel, blanket, cushion, whatever you've got. And I'll give you a moment to grab that. So we're just going to start setting ourselves out. So have a good adjustment. Get all the fleshy bits out of the way. You're on your sit bone, the bony bits of your bottom. We're lengthening from the crown of the head. You've got your head directly over your rib cage, which is directly over your pelvis. You have a core engaged to support everything. Chest is open and lifted. Collarbones are nice and wide. Take a deep breath, not the chin to the chest. Start to scoop the abdominals as you slide your hands away from you towards your feet. And remember, you can have your knees bent if you need to. You're just going as far as your body allows, not forcing anything. When you've got to your furthest point, take a moment, breathe, and then on the exhale, slowly slide your hands all the way back to your start position. Maintain your core engagement as your shoulders, your neck, and your head stack up. We're going to go again. Take a deep breath, not the chin to the chest. Scoop the abdominals. So draw everything in towards the midline as you slowly slide the hands along the mat, the floor towards your feet. So when you've got to this point, notice how that feels. You should be getting a really nice big stretch to the backs of the legs, calves, hamstrings, and possibly the lower back. Remember to keep the knees bent if you need to. Nice deep breath on the exhale. You slowly restack. I'm going to show you 2 other variations of this exercise. So you can do it with your hands in front. Just check you're not doing this. So relax your shoulders. Wrists are slightly lower than your shoulders. Nice deep breath on the exhale, not the chin to the chest. Again, scoop the abdominals. This time you're going to slide your hands forwards as if you're sliding them along an imaginary coffee table. When you get to your furthest point, take a moment there, breathe. Relax your shoulders, take a deep breath on the exhale, slowly, segmentally restacking your spine with your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Come up off. Do that again, take a deep breath, not the chin to the chest. Scoop into the abdominals. You slide as far forward as you comfortably can. When you get to your furthest point, just take a moment there, breathe, relax your shoulders, and then slowly sliding all the way back to your start position. I'll do another option now. You can bring your feet together. So the soles of your feet are together in a sort of a butterfly or a long frog. Again, maybe have a little adjustment. Make sure you're on that fleshy bit. Excuse me, remove the fleshy bit and you're on your bony bits. And lengthen from the crown of the head. Check that you haven't started to sink into your hips. So you're sitting up and out of your hips. Collarbones are really wide. Shoulder blades are squeezing back. Take a deep breath. Again, nod the chin to the chest. Scoop into the abdominals. This time you're sliding your hands down your shins towards your ankles. Don't worry if you don't make it all the way. You're only going as far as your body allows. When you've got to your furthest point, notice how that feels. Breathe there for a few moments. Take a deep breath, and then on the exhale, slide your hands back up towards your knees as you restack your spine. And then we go again. Take a deep breath. Nod the chin to the chest. Scoop, scoop, scoop to the abdominals. Really engaging everything to support you as you slide your hands down towards your shins. So down your shins towards your ankles. When you've got to your furthest point, just breathe. Relax your shoulders. Notice a difference in the stretch. I can feel it more in my glutes and my bottom this time. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, slowly, slowly restack your spine with your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Come up last. We're just going to go into a little mermaid stretch. So if you can, we're going to go and try and go into a shin box. So you're going to bring your right leg behind you and your left leg is in front. So you've come into a kind of, I call this a mermaid position when I do it with my children. So when you're ready, you're going to bring your right hand to the floor. You're going to extend the left hand, and we're going to go up, and we're going to go over. So notice how that feels on the hips. It should feel really good. And then we go the same on the other side. So we go up, and we go. I'm just going to do this a couple of times on each side. Just really stretching through the side body. Just check that we're not bringing the shoulders up to the ears. We've got a nice long neck. And if you can, just see if you can look up towards the sky. Ceiling as you do that. One last one on this side, and then we'll reverse the legs. So you're going to switch the legs. So the right leg comes forward, the left leg goes back. And just notice how that feels on the hips as you come down. So the right hand goes to the floor, extend the left arm up, and we go over. And then we go the other way. Nice and easy. Just get a lovely stretch through the side. So it's lateral flexion through the side body. This is your last one. And then, hallelujah, we're going to the floor. Last one. And then when you're ready, we're just going to release the legs down. And we're going to come onto your back. So if you have anything for your head, what you were sitting on earlier, you can use that for your head support. And we're coming onto the ground. So we're starting off in our rest position. Your knees are going to be flexed. And you're going to start with your feet together. Hands are by your side. Take a couple of seconds just to land in the moment. And then when you're ready, bring your heels in a small triangle. Bring your toes in line with your heels. Just like we did at the beginning. Your ankles, your knees, and your hips are now nicely aligned. Then we're doing some very gentle pelvic tilt. So just allowing the lower back to go flush with the mat. And then allowing it to arch back up. You just want to roll through the pelvis just a couple of times, just to help you find a middle point between those two extremes. So your back is neither flush and neither is it arched. So when you find that point, just keeping it there. Now we're stabilizing the shoulders by bringing them right up to the ears, squeezing them back, and then gently sliding them down the mat. Now a quick reminder of our core. Big, big wide belt, tightening it as much as you possibly can. Maximum intensity, going all the way up to notch number 10, just holding it there. And then slowly and with control, you're releasing it halfway to notch number 5. And then down to notch number 3. And just think if you can keep it like that for the rest of the class. Now with the pelvic floor, which obviously you've all been doing for the last half hour, you can take a nice deep breath as you inhale. Allow the body to expand. As you exhale, you're contracting and squeezing and lifting the pelvic floor. One more time, breathing in and breathing out, squeezing and lifting. We're just going to start with some little warm up for the lower abdominals. Some single knee folds. So you're going to float your right leg into tabletop, knee directly above the hip, shin parallel the floor, and then slowly floating it back down. Same with the left leg. Knee directly above the hip, shin parallel with the floor. So we're just going to take a couple of moments here. Maybe place your fingertips on your hip bones as you alternate knee raises. So we're just going to work the lower abdominal muscles. And what you want to try and focus on is your pelvic stability. So as you lift your legs, try not to let the pelvis sway from side to side. There's going to be a little bit of movement, but you're going to try and use a little bit more core to keep that stability going. Now, you've got the option of going into double knee folds, but it totally is your choice, and it depends on how your lower back is feeling. So if you're going to go into double knee folds, you're floating one leg into tabletop, you're sliding your rib towards your hip, and then scooping your tailbone up as you bring the second leg to join it. So your lower back hasn't arched, and your abdominals haven't started to dome. Now bring your hands to your knees, and then have a little play. So bring the knees slightly in towards your chest. Notice what happens to your lower back. Does it go more flush in towards the mat? And then take the knees away, just very, very slowly, and notice if your lower back is starting to arch. So I want you to find a point where your knees are in the right position, so your back is not arching, but it's not super easy for you. So if you're going to have your knees up here, it's maybe too easy. But just find a point where it just challenges you just right. And then you're going to bring that right leg down, and then the left leg. So we're going to lead with the left leg now. If this is just too much for you, just keep with a single knee fold. If you're bringing your left leg up, you're sliding your rib towards your hip, scooping your tailbone up and bringing your second leg to join. And the left leg goes down, then the right leg. So we're just going to alternate, leading with the opposite leg. Single knee folds is absolutely fine. You just listen to your body and just notice how it feels. Just do a couple more, just firing up those low abdominals, waking up the pelvis. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring your feet back down to the floor. You're going to float your arms up. So fingertips are towards the ceiling. Check what's going on with the shoulders. So we don't want them up by the ears. Relax your shoulders. Nice and easy. You're just going to bring your right hand out to the side as your left leg, left knee drops to the side. Inhale to come back. We do the same on the other side. Exhale, go the other way. Nice and slow. So just a little counterbalance. We're just working on the balance side of things again. So notice what's happening to your pelvis. Try and keep the hip points facing up towards the ceiling. So you might not be able to go as far as you think. So you might be able to maybe keep the soles of your feet on the floor. So if this is challenging enough for you, just keep with this. You're mobilizing through the hips and the shoulders, and you're also working your core. However, if you want a little bit more fire, and this is your personal choice, please don't feel that you have to. Float one leg up the tabletop, slide the rib towards the hip, curl your tailbone up, and you've come into a double knee fold again. So we can do exactly the same thing now. Nice deep breath. On the exhale, the right hand goes out, the left knee goes out. Inhale to come back. Notice how much harder that is. Exhaling as you drop. Inhale to come back. Nice and slow. If you rush it, you're going to not get all the benefits from it. So really take your time. Notice how the body is responding. Notice if the lower back is starting to arch. If it is, maybe bring the knees in just a tiny, tiny bit. Nice and slow. So we're just going to do a couple more. So you can be working with your feet on the floor, or you can have your knees up on tabletop. This is going to be your last one. And then you're going to float. If you've got your legs up, one leg comes down at a time. Take the legs out long, take the arms out long. Nice full body stretch. So you can rotate your ankles and your wrists. I'm getting some lovely clicks as I do that. So just breathe through that for a few moments. And then when you're ready, you're going to roll on to your right side. So if you have your towel, cushion, blanket, whatever you've got, you can place it between your arm and your shoulder. And you're going to lay out on your right side. You're going to have your arm out extended. Obviously, if you have issues with your arm or your shoulder, you can have your arm in front of you. This obviously is more challenging. You're going to have your shoulders stacked on your shoulders. Your hips are going to be on your hips. And if you look down, you should just be able to see your toes in your peripheral vision. But once you've looked down, please bring your chin back up. So got a little bit of space between your chin and your chest. You're going to bring your left hand onto your hip bone. Give it a little stretch. So just creating a tiny bit of space underneath this waist. And then choose your hand position, either on your thigh or in front of you. Take a deep breath. We're just lifting and lowering. Nice and slow and controlled. So as you're doing this, check the shoulders haven't crept up. So you've got a lovely long neck. You're looking out in front of you. So you're not looking down at your feet anymore. And then I want you to imagine there's a tug of war going on between your fingertips and your toes. You're lengthening through the entire body. And then I'm going to do one more like this. And then when you're ready, next time you lift your leg, you're going to flex and point. If you need to bring your hands down for a little bit of support, please do. As you flex, you're going to stretch all the way to the back of the leg. As you point, you're going to get a stretch to the front of the body, to the front of the leg. So just nice and easy. And then if this is enough for you, just keep with that, or just lift and lower the leg. Or the other option is you're going to float the arm up and the leg up. So we're going to do the counterbalance thing we've just done now. So bring the arm back and the leg forwards. Come back to center. Do the same in the opposite. So arm forward, the leg back. So just have a little play. Notice how that feels. Take your time. And we go. Keep going. So just keep going. Notice if you feel like you're going to fall over. Maybe not bring the arm and the leg back so much. Keep thinking about your core. So drawing everything in towards your midline. So your whole torso is drawing in towards you. And we're just going to do one more. And then when you're ready, you're going to release the legs down. Bring the knees into your chest. Give yourselves a nice big hug. Have a little pat if you need to. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly roll onto your fronts. Reposition myself. So you're coming onto your tummies. Just going to set ourselves up nicely. Your feet are going to be hip width apart. You're going to attempt, this is a hard bit, especially for me, is try to keep your buttocks, your bottom relaxed and not clenching. You're pressing the tops of your feet into the floor, the mat. And you're going to start off with your hands underneath your chest. I'm going to attempt to reposition my microphone. Hopefully you can still hear me. And you're going to, this is the key bit of this move, is the pelvic placement. So just gently round through the pelvis. So tucking the tailbone under and pressing the pubic bone into the mat. And draw the muscles of the core up and away from the mat. So drawing everything in towards the midline. So when you're ready, take a deep breath. On the exhale, you just lengthen and lift your right leg. Pressing the pubic bone to the mat. Inhale to come back down. Exhale, we lift the left leg. So the pelvic placement is everything. Pressing that pubic bone into the mat and engaging your core. You're just alternating legs at the moment. What we're trying to do here is strengthen the lower back, the lumbar muscles. What I don't want you to do, if you're feeling any discomfort, any pinching, any niggly feeling in that lower back, please stop and just send me a message really quickly. The really key thing with this is as you lift your leg, is you've got that tuck of the tailbone, press the pubic bone into the mat, and you are engaging your core. Okay, so if you're happy with that, you can stick with that. That's absolutely fine. You're doing a brilliant job of strengthening your back muscles. If you want to add to that, you can extend the arms out in front of you. So you're going to come into a little Superman position. So you're going to start working through not just the hips, you're going to start including the shoulders. So take a deep breath. On the exhale, opposite arm to opposite leg lifts up. Still pressing that pubic bone into the mat. Same on the other side. Exhaling as you lift. Tucking the tailbone under and pressing pubic bone to the mat and cores engaged. You're just doing alternate arms to legs and swapping sides. So this is a slow swim. So you're now starting to mobilize through the shoulders as well as the hips, and you're now working on opening up through the chest. So you're still strengthening the back muscles. If you want to add to that next time, and this is optional, please don't feel that you have to just because I've said it. You can lift your head, your neck, and your chest as you lift your opposite arm to opposite leg. So nice and slow and controlled. As you lift, if you're lifting your head, keep the gaze down so you're not crunching the back of the neck. I'm just going to do a couple more. If this is good for you, just keep with this. You've got 2 other options you can work for if this is not going for you. But the key thing with this is that pelvic placement. We're tucking the tailbone under, pressing the pubic bone into the mat. And the next and the final version is you're going to come up into your extension. So you're lifting your head, your neck, and your chest away from the floor. Your arms are hovering and your feet or legs are hovering. We're now going to start pedaling. So you're going to start alternate arms and legs, going a little bit faster. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Stretch from your fingertips to your toes. Still got that pubic bone connection. So press that pubic bone into the mat and engage your core. And also breathe. It's quite a complicated move. So you're going to just do, if you're doing this, you're going to do 4 more breaths. If not, you're just going to lift and lower twice on each side. So we're just going for 4, for 3, for 2, and then for 1. Slowly release everything back down. Catch your breath and bring your left hand underneath your forehead. Right hand's going to be by your side. Flex the right knee. If you can, reach back with your hand and gently encourage the foot towards your heel. Don't worry if you can't grab hold of your foot. You can try your sock, your trouser leg, or it's just the intention of reducing the space between the heel and the buttock. But you're definitely not forcing that knee. And you're just very gently encouraging the heel to the buttock. Again, if you want a little bit more, it's the pelvic placement. So you're pressing your pubic bone into the mat, tucking your tailbone under, and you should feel that stretch intensify. Breathe. And then when you're ready, just release the leg down. We do the same on the other side. So your right hand replaces your left. You flex your left knee, and then reach back with your hand. If you can. You're just going to very gently tuck the tailbone under. Press the pubic bone into the mat. And you should feel that intensity increase. But please don't force it. Don't yank on that knee. You should definitely not be feeling it in the knees, just in the front of the thigh. And then when you're ready, just release the leg down. And we're going to come into 4-point kneeling for just a quick release stretch. We're just going to go into a little cat-cow. So just get yourselves into position. Your knees are underneath your hip points. Your wrists are going to be underneath your shoulders. Now check what's happening with your lower back. Just tuck the tailbone under. Draw everything in towards the midline. Relax your shoulders and then soften the elbows. Press the mat away from you. So when you're ready, inhale as you drop the tummy, open the chest forward. Exhale as you round through, chin to chest. So you're coming into your little cat. And we go again, inhaling as you drop the tummy, open the chest forward. Exhale as you round through. Last one. Inhaling, dropping the tummy. Tailbone comes up, looking forwards. You should feel a really nice big stretch to the front of the body. Exhale as you round through. Chin to chest. Now in this position, we're going to hinge at the knees as we're going to sit back, as if we're going to sit back onto our heels. Then we're going to open up through the chest, drop the tummy forward. So we've come into our cow. Hinge back in your cow position. Exhale as you come into your cat, chin to chest, stretching through the back body. You're going to hinge on the knees. Then drop the tummy, open the chest, look forward. You're coming into your cow. Last one, exhaling as you come into your cat. So really get a stretch to the skin of your back body as you hinge forwards. Tailbone's tucked under, you're rounding through the spine. Then you're going to lift, so you open up through the chest, lift your tailbone up, and then you're coming back into your cow. We're going to come back to a neutral spine. So tuck your tailbone slightly under, and you're going to bump your hips to the left. Look over your right shoulder at your right foot. Come back, and we'll do the same on the other side. So just really nice for the lower back, for the hips again. And then you can have a little tick-tock side to side. Or you can start circling around. Just find whatever feels good. Get freaky with it. You're at home. I can't even see you now, so you just do whatever you want. Just find any bits that are not feeling too good. Just go into them and then slowly come back up. Yay. And we're going to go onto our left side now. So just reposition yourselves if you need to. Come down onto your left side. And excuse me, just my microphone. So you're going to lay on your left. Have your cushion or your towel, whatever you've got, arm and your head. You're going to have your toes, shoulders stacked on your shoulders, hips on your hips, your toes, if you look down, should just be in your peripheral vision. Bring your right hand to your hip. Give it a little stretch. You're just creating a tiny bit of space underneath that waist. Then choose your hand position, either on your on your thigh, or in front of you. And we're just lifting and up. So there's a couple of things I want you to think about as you're doing this, is make sure there's a nice space between your chin and your chest, so you're not looking down. You're looking directly in front of you. Then check what's going on with your shoulders. Make sure they haven't crept up. And make sure you haven't created tension elsewhere. So just soften the skin on your face. Make sure you're not sort of grinding your teeth or clenching or pulling some lovely places. Nice and softness. Think about that tug of war going on between your fingertips and the heels of the feet. And then imagine you're laying between two panes of glass. You're just keeping the stacking of the shoulders and the hips. When your next time you've got your leg in at hip height, you're going to flex and point. Just flex and point to the leg, to the foot. You're just going to get a really nice big stretch to the back of the leg and through the front. Breathe here for a few moments. And then when you're ready, we're going to try and do that counterbalance. So this is fine. If you're okay with this, just lifting and lowering. You're working all the muscles down the side of the body. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can float your arm up, bring your leg up, and then you bring arm forward, leg back. Come back to center. Same on the other side. So again, notice the difference between the sides. You might find one side was easier than the other. Try and keep the stacking of your shoulders and your hips. Relax the shoulders. Make sure the shoulder hasn't crept up to the ear. You've got a lovely long neck as you're doing this. I'm just going to do a couple more. Just working on the balance again. The whole theme of the class today has been balance. Last one. You're going to float your arm and your leg down. Bring your knees up into your chest. Give yourselves a nice little hug if you need it. Pat your bum. And then when you're ready, you're just going to roll onto your back. We're going to finish off with a shoulder bridge. But if you did have anything underneath your head, please remove it. So I don't want anything behind your neck today for this one. If you did have something for your head, you can place it between your knees. So when you're ready, you're going to press into all four corners of your feet. To stabilize, you're going to engage your glutes, so you squeeze your bottoms. And if you have something between your knees, just gently squeeze it. Or just imagine you have something there, just to keep the knees from falling out to the side. So keeping the ankles, knees, and hips nicely aligned. Take a deep breath on the exhale from your tailbone. Allow the lower back to go flush with the mat and start to lift the hips. So you're lifting vertebra by vertebra until you come up onto your shoulder blades. So you've got a lovely straight line between your knee, your hip, and your shoulder. Bring your chest to your chin and your chin to the sky, opening up from the back of the neck. So take a moment here just to breathe. Feel all these bits stretching. Take a deep breath, and then on the exhale, segmentally allow each vertebra to melt back down. So your middle back, your lower back, and then your pelvis. We're just going to do that again. Take a nice deep breath, pressing into all four corners of the feet, engaging your glutes, squeezing whatever you have between your knees or the imaginary thing you have between your knees. And as you lift your hips up, your shins are going to come forward. Check you've got the straight line between your knee, your hip. Lift your chin to the sky. And then we're going to do some marching feet. So just lifting and lowering the heels of the feet. See if you can do that without the hips dropping. You're going to have to work your glutes and your hamstrings a little bit more. Breathe, smile, it's all good. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath, bring both heels to the floor, and slowly, segmentally allow each vertebra to melt back down with your pelvis and your tailbone. Come down. And then when your knees up into your chest, and then hug them in towards you. So we're almost finished. We're just going to do a couple of stretches. So just rocking side to side. Bring your nose towards your knee if it's available to you. And then maybe you might want to place your hands on your knees and just gently circling around. So find whatever feels good for you. Massaging the lower back. And then when you're ready, you're just allowing the left leg to lower down. The right leg is going to extend out. You're going to interlace your hands either behind your thigh or behind your calf, keeping a little softness to that knee so you're not forcing it. And you're just going to maybe do some ankle circles. You can flex and point your toes, or you can keep still. Just find whatever is right for you today. Check that you are not creating tension elsewhere. Just relax everything down. Just relax the jaw, soften the skin on your face, and breathe. And then when you're ready, bring that right ankle onto the left knee. If that is enough, you just place your right hand on that right knee, ease it away. If you need a little bit more, interlace your hands behind the left knee and lift the leg up. So either option, you're going to get a nice big stretch through your right buttock. You can do little ankle circles. You can flex and point your toes. If you put your leg up, you can play around with your ankle of that left knee. But just find whatever feels right for you. Just soften everything down, relax your shoulders. And then when you're ready, I'm just going to bring the left foot down if it's not already. And then you're sliding along your right shin. Your right knee is going to be on top of your left. Then with your left hand, you should be able to reach your right ankle. With your right hand, you should be able to reach your left knee. Very gently encourage everything in towards your chest. You're going to get a nice big stretch in your upper buttock now as your performance. Breathe, relax your shoulders. And soften the skin in your face. It's all good. One last breath. And when you're ready, release the legs down. We're going to unravel the legs. And you're going to bring the left leg out nice and long. So your right leg is down. You're going to interlace your hands either behind the thigh or behind the calf. Again, you're not forcing anything. Dial, if you can just flex your foot, bring the toes to your face. You can flex and point, ankle circles, anything that feels right. But keep a little softness to that knee. Try not to let it lock out. And breathe. And then when you're ready, just going to bring that left ankle onto that right knee. If that's enough, just place your left hand on the left knee, ease it away. Or you can interlace your hands behind the right knee and lift the leg up. So here you've got lots of options. You can play around with this angle of that right knee. You can do little ankle circles. You can flex and point. But whichever option, whichever version you've gone for, you should all feel the stretch in your left buttock. Which is a nice little glute stretch. Just breathe. And then when you're ready, you're just going to slide along the left shin, bringing the left knee on top of the right. With your right hand, you should be able to reach for your left ankle. With your left hand, you should be able to reach for your right knee. Now just gently encourage everything in towards your chest. It's going to get a really nice big stretch in your upper buttock again. Breathe. Relax your shoulders. Soften the skin on your face. It's all good. And then when you're ready, just release that down. I'm just going to go into a little supine stretch, a twist. Take the legs out long, take the arms out to the side. You're going to bring the right knee up to your chest, meet it with your hand, and then gently ease it across the body. you're just going to go as far over as is comfortable for you. You're going to look, when your knee has gone as far as it will go, you can look over at your right hand. Nice big stretches through the lower back. Breathing. And then when you're ready, just release that back down. We'll do the same on the other side. So left knee comes up. You're going to meet it with your right hand and gently ease it across the body. You're not forcing, you're not yanking, you're not cranking. You're just working with what you've got. Relax your shoulders. And if you can, look over to your left hand. A nice big stretch through your lower back. And then when you're really slowly releasing that back down. Now, you've got the option to roll up like rolling like a ball, or you can just turn to your side and use your hands to bring you up to a nice seated position. So before we finish, we're just going to do a couple of last little stretches. And when you're ready, you're going to sit nice and tall. Bring your hands to just the lower back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Bring the elbows together. And slowly nod the chin to the chest. So just going to get a really big stretch through your chest, your upper back, your pecs. Breathe. And then when you're ready, bring in your hands in front of you. You can interlace them if you wish, or just place one palm on top of the other. Then nod the chin to the chest. Big stretch to your upper back now. Breathe. And then when you're ready, release the hands down. So we're just going to finish off with a twist, actually. So you can take the arms up, stretch, stretch, stretch. Relax the shoulders down. Bring in the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind your bottom. Lengthening from the crown of the head. And you're just going to do 3 breaths here. So inhale, you're going to stretch up. Exhale, you might go a little bit more into that rotation, but please don't force it. So you're not using this hand on the right, that right hand to force it. Inhaling, you extend. Exhale, you might go a little bit more into rotation. One last breath. And try not to sink back into that left hand. And then slowly bring the left hand up. Stretch it towards the ceiling. And then we go up and we go. Look up towards the ceiling. Nice side body stretch. And then bring the hand back down. And we come up. We do the same on the other side. I realise it's just gone 10 o'clock, but we're nearly finished. So stretch the arms up. Relax your shoulders. Breathe. Right hand comes behind your bottom, left hand comes to your right knee. So try not to sink down. So you're lifting up. Chest is really open, collarbones are wide. 3 breaths. Inhale. As you expand, exhale, you contract. You might get a little bit more into your stretch. Breathing in and breathing out. One last one. And then when you're ready, right hand comes up. Stretch it up, up, up. And then we go over to the side. A nice side body stretch. And look up towards the ceiling. Bring your hand down, and then we slowly come. You're going to bring your feet in line with your bottom. Transfer your weight onto your knees. Tuck your toes under. And we're just going to go here for a few moments, just stretching through the calves. Maybe challenging your balance one last time. Coming onto your fingertips, maybe coming onto your knees, lengthening from the crown of the head. And then when you're ready, obviously, if you have got knee issues, please avoid this one, yeah? Take a deep breath on the exhale, bring the heels, come onto your heels, lift your bottom up in the air, and keep your knees generously bent. Have a little sway side to side. Maybe clasp your elbows. Just have a good rock. Just notice how that lower back's feeling now. When you're ready, take a deep breath on the exhale, slowly, segmentally restack the spine. With your shoulders, your neck, and then your head. Come up. And just to finish off, you just do a little shoulder roll back, and then one forwards. And give me a little shimmy. Hope you enjoyed that. Please give me some feedback by email, text, phone call, whatever you like. And thank you. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.